the annals of history, there exist leaders whose names evoke fear and dread, whose reigns were marked by cruelty and tyranny. These figures, though long gone, leave behind a legacy of suffering and oppression that still echoes through the ages. From the blood-soaked sands of ancient Rome to the vast expanses of the Mongol Empire, their deeds remain etched in the annals of time. Join us on a journey through the annals of ancient history as we unveil the 10 most cruel and despotic leaders who shaped the course of civilizations with their ruthless ambition and unforgiving brutality. Make sure to subscribe for more historical content. 1. Caligula, 1241 AD. This Roman emperor's madness knew no bounds. He once declared his horse, Incitatus, a consul, mocking the very institution of Roman governance. Caligula reveled in sadistic entertainment, delighting in the torture and execution of his enemies. His reign was marked by extravagance beyond measure, squandering vast sums of public money on lavish parties and frivolous projects, while his subjects suffered under his despotic rule. 2. Nero, 3768 AD. Nero's tyrannical rule plunged Rome into darkness. He was infamous for his persecution of Christians, blaming them for the Great Fire of Rome and subjecting them to gruesome deaths in the Colosseum. Nero's cruelty extended even to his own family, ordering the murder of his mother, Agrippina, and later executing his wife, Octavia, on false charges of adultery. His reign was stained with blood and debauchery, culminating in his own suicide as rebellion loomed. 3. Genghis Khan, 1162–1227. The wrath of Genghis Khan knew no bounds as he carved out an empire through a trail of devastation. He laid waste to entire cities, leaving behind mountains of skulls as a warning to those who dared resist his rule. Genghis Khan's tactics of terror struck fear into the hearts of his enemies, as he employed brutal methods such as the use of human shields and the systematic slaughter of civilians to crush all opposition. 4. Attila the Hun, 406–453 AD. Attila's name became synonymous with terror as he swept across Europe like a storm of destruction. The scourge of God left a trail of carnage in his wake, plundering cities and slaughtering innocents without mercy. Attila's cruelty knew no bounds as he reveled in the suffering of his victims, earning a reputation as one of history's most ruthless conquerors. 5. King Herod the Great, 73–4 BC. Herod's reign was marked by paranoia and brutality as he sought to eliminate any perceived threats to his power. His most infamous act was the massacre of infants in Bethlehem, ordered in a futile attempt to prevent the rise of a rival king foretold by prophecy. Herod's cruelty extended to his own family as he executed several of his own sons on suspicion of treason, cementing his reputation as a tyrant willing to sacrifice anyone in his quest for absolute control. 6. Ashurnasirpal II, 883–859 BC. The Assyrian king's reign was a reign of terror as he subjected conquered peoples to unspeakable atrocities. Ashurnasirpal II's cruelty knew no bounds as he delighted in the torture and mutilation of his enemies, leaving behind a legacy of fear and suffering that would endure for generations. 7. Shihuangdi, 259–210 BC. First emperor of China, Shihuangdi's quest for control knew no bounds. He subjected his people to brutal oppression, crushing dissent with an iron fist and imposing harsh punishments on those who dared defy his authority. Shihuangdi's obsession with power led to the burning of books and the burying alive of scholars, as he sought to erase all traces of dissent and establish his absolute rule over China. 8. Hammurabi, 1810–1750 BC. The Babylonian king's law code was renowned for its harshness, reflecting his ruthless approach to governance. Hammurabi's justice was swift and merciless, with punishments ranging from mutilation to death for even minor offenses. His reign was characterized by a climate of fear and oppression as he sought to maintain control through the brutal enforcement of his laws. 9. Pharaoh Ramesses II, 1303–1213 BC. Ramesses II's reign was marked by endless conquests and brutal oppression. He glorified war and conquest, depicting himself in grandiose monuments as a victorious warrior king. Behind the facade of grandeur lay a regime built on the backs of slaves and subjected peoples, as Ramesses II imposed his will through force and fear, leaving a legacy of suffering and exploitation. 10. Tiberius, 42 BC, 37 AD. Tiberius ruled Rome with an iron fist, his reign marred by depravity and cruelty. He indulged in perverse pleasures, reveling in orgies and debauchery while his subjects suffered under his despotic rule. Tiberius's paranoia led to a reign of terror as he purged his enemies and executed those suspected of plotting against him, leaving a trail of blood and misery in his wake. As we bid farewell to these tyrants of antiquity, let us remember the lessons of history they impart. Their reigns stand as cautionary tales, reminding us of the dangers of unchecked power and the horrors that await when cruelty reigns supreme. Yet amidst the darkness of their deeds, let us also find solace in the resilience of the human spirit, which has endured and triumphed over even the darkest of tyrannies. May we learn from the mistakes of the past and strive to build a future where justice, compassion, and humanity prevail.